Have you ever spent $100,000 on a solar system that doesn't work? I haven't, but this guy has. Let's check it out. Real installs by real electricians.
Looking to save money on his electric bill, a Mississippi man says he shelled out nearly $100,000 for new solar panels for his property. But he says the company he hired to do the work seemingly vanished. We investigate in an all-new Fox 8 Defenders investigation. Inside his 3,000 square foot shop.
Wait, let's go back and check this out.
Investigation.
Hold on. That's it? You're telling me that this right here, like 50 panels-ish, is $100K? You have to be kidding. This dude got. Oh my. This is sad. This is a very nice neighborhood though. Wow, very beautiful. Right? House, shop, very beautiful.
His 3,000 square foot shop.
I am putting an rear axle bearing in it.
Jim Dutton works meticulously restoring vintage cars.
I changed it from a Ford.
What? So this guy is pretty smart, right? He's able to restore cars. You know, he understands like mechanical schematics. He's a pretty smart guy. You have to be pretty smart to be able to restore cars. And you're telling me that he didn't like Google or try to learn about solar, read reviews. He didn't do any of that, even though he's capable of doing this. Man, some people, man, I just don't get it.
Ford 8-inch to a Ford 9-inch rear end.
This is a labor of love. So too is his property in Carriere, Mississippi.
That half is heated and cooled. This is the shop area for my cars and toys.
Last August, Dutton says his son expressed interest in keeping the property in the future.
So I said, I need to make it as efficient as possible for them to maintain it. I was called out of the blue. They gave me, it was one of those calls from Chen Solar.
Ah, okay. So solar sales bro, huh? They call them.
Hey, sir. Did you know that we could lower your electricity bill, right? Your typical your typical, not script. That's what I'm trying to get at. Your typical script. Sir, did you know that you can save over $1 million in 25 years going solar? Sir, did you know we have a 25-year warranty?
Holy Jesus.
Solar is a Covington-based company that sells solar panels.
So they called, and all of a sudden I said, hey, that's a good idea. Right? If I can cut the electricity bill down, that was anywhere between $400 to $600 a month.
Okay, so that's the problem with solar. Like in Jake Tran's video where he says solar is the perfect pitch. It is. What he said is right. It is a good idea. It does make sense, right? You put a bunch of solar panels on your roof and your bill can essentially almost go to zero, right? I'm pretty sure with how much roof spacing this guy has, he should be able to get to zero or just the interconnection fee if your utility allows it. So it is correct, but the problem is that the bad work and the grossly overcharge is super unethical. Like making a living is great, but like $100,000 for this, just looking at the system alone, I can probably guarantee you that the material itself costs like a little over $20,000. If I'm completely honest, like 50-ish panels with some racking. What is this, like maybe Iron Ridge or Unirac racking, right? These are maybe mid clamps, right? No bird guard at all, so they didn't even do the bird guard. You got one pipe going down here with the LB. I mean, just your typical install, and it's not going to cost. This material does not cost over $30,000. This is probably $20-ish thousand.
It's a good chunk of change. So I looked online and pulled up Chen Solar, and it looked like a legitimate business. And one of their partners, I guess, as they call it, on.
Wait, this is another problem. You can't pull up a company's website and be like, they look like a legitimate business. Of course they're going to look like a legitimate business. That's the whole point of the website, is to appear bigger than you are, right? Is to appear very good, very professional, right? But you never reached out to call anybody. You didn't try to call the people that did the work. You didn't try to call any other like office manager that they can explain to you NV Energy and permitting. You didn't do any of the due diligence. You just trusted the website that anybody can make. An Indian in India can make a website like this for like a couple $100. And you click on it and all of a sudden you're sold. You shouldn't be sold so easily. That's very, very naive. That's absolutely terrible.
On the website said Panasonic something, and they rated them as in 2023 the best installer in the region.
Within days, Dutton signed a contract with Trend Solar.
Wait, hold on. Here we go. Here's the equipment. So 47 Lungi panels, 400M. These are the panels I have on my own house. These are very good panels, by the way, but they're very cheap. Okay, there's no solar panel. There's no solar panel in this world that justifies $100,000 solar installation costs. Okay, but these panels they're pretty good. I use them myself. I personally have them in my own house. Enphase Energy IQ 8+. Yeah, these are your typical microinverters everyone loves. But now, right, 50 panels. Now that I see the material list, this shit is definitely like 25K, right? 100%. 100%. Like these Longi panels, 47. Go ahead, times that by, let's say, 140, right? Tariffs, right? The fucking Trump administration. So 65, 80. Then you have 47 micros, which is about, let's say, like 160. You're getting a discount. So what is that, like 16K-ish? You go here, so that's about, no, it's like 15K, sorry. 15K-ish. Then you add, let's say, some racking, highballing it here with maybe some wire. You add a little Home Depot run for like junction box, breaker, pipe, straps, maybe D-rate if you need to do that. Let's add permit and plans. Let's go about 1,500. Let's add labor, 47 panels. Let's say at most like 3 days. Let's say $800 a day. Let's go $2,400. Enphase combiner box. What was it, like $700? Well, there you go. $25,000 like I kind of expected, somewhere in that ballpark, right? Like we don't have the real numbers dollar for dollar, but it's somewhere in there. I mean, and you're telling me that for $25,600 of material, permit, and labor, you're going to charge somebody $100,000, and company profit and commission is $75,000. Look, people commit 2 years of their lives to make this money. 2 years of full-time work to make this money. Some more than 2 years. That's insane. You cannot tell me that a solar sales commission is like $30,000 for 47 made in China panels. That is absolutely unethical and downright fucking terrible. All right, let's continue.
And signed up for a loan with Mosaic, a lending company, to help pay for the $99,000 job.
Holy shit.
According to this contract, Trend Solar told Dutton he would need 47 solar panels on the roof of this structure, and lines run under the driveway to connect the panels to Dutton's main house. The plan was for the panels to provide energy to both the main house and the shop. Dutton says Trend Solar told him it would send an electrician after the installer put the panels on to wire the project.
They installed the panels within 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days. That's all right.
Wow,
Yeah.
this is cool. They weren't kidding, 4 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Then it was radio silence.
Dutton says he called.
You know why it's radio silence? Because so many installers have such a big issue with the paperwork. They just don't understand how to do the paperwork. There's like permitting, interconnection plans. There's the engineering stamps. They just don't get it. Follow rules and regulations of the city and the jurisdiction. A lot of companies and contractors just don't get it. It doesn't click in their head. They just don't understand. And this stuff is not even that hard. They literally, like in Nevada here, NV Energy gives you a fucking guideline on what to do. They literally write it out for you. And they're so helpful on getting stuff like, oh, okay, this is not quite right. You just got to tweak it a little bit. It's not that difficult if you're an ethical and a company trying to do the right thing. But if you're a scam artist, then here you go.
Called repeatedly and wondered where the electrician was. 3 months later, in December,
I had an electrician show up finally. But the problem is they didn't have an approved plan, so they just wired it.
Exactly. Like I said, don't even have the plans because they don't know what they're doing. God.
According to Dutton, the utility company providing electricity to his home never approved Trend Solar's plan for the solar panels.
Yeah, because the
Standard
paperwork
practice
didn't
for that
do
to
it.
be done in Mississippi before any work begins. This email lays it out. David Blackledge, a manager with Cooperative Energy, wrote in February, I conducted an on-site visit to the Dutton residence. To be clear, these 2 jobs should not have been installed by Trend Solar because they didn't make it past the initial utility review stage. The installation method used has created multiple potential safety hazards.
One of the safety hazard is because all of the panels are on my shop.
Oh my God. They're using the plastic stuff. They didn't even use conduit. Oh my God. They didn't use EMT. Oh my, that's Gross.
and 20 some odd feed the house. They did not put a cutoff switch on the shop for those panels. So his concern was if I had a fire in the shop and the fireman went up there to cut a hole in the roof and they cut into the panel.
Is rapid shutdown. He didn't have rapid shutdown on his roof. So of course it's not going to be compliant because rapid shutdown is it's all of US. You have to have rapid shutdown the entire country, unlike EU.
It was hot and there was absolutely no way to turn them off other than go to the other side of my property and hit the house switch.
Dutton says he also discovered issues with the wiring done by the electrician hired by Trend Solar.
So here's an example.
Well, they shouldn't be sending out an electrician hired by Trend Solar. See, the real way to do things is the electricians are part of Trend Solar or part of whatever company you are. And they're sending out an employee. They're sending out a tech, right? A tech that happens to be an electrician for XYZ Solar, right? The reason why this happens is probably because they're a bunch of dudes that are basically scam artists, right? They're a bunch of scam artists getting people to sign $100,000 contracts, and they know nothing about the actual electrical solar world. They know barely minimum. They know enough to convince an average person to get solar with them, but they're not a true professional. They don't really understand what they're doing, and that's exactly why we have shit like this. Shit like this. God.
They didn't even cut it long enough, so I've got exposed wire here.
Blackledge's email details that a Trend Solar representative messaged him asking for permission to install the panels. Problem is, they were already installed. Blackledge then said he couldn't get a hold of anyone at the company when he tried to follow up. Because according to Blackledge's email, the installation was done incorrectly and posed safety hazards. The panels can't be turned on. In other words, they don't work.
It's like they vanished.
They're gone. I have phone numbers. They won't return my phone call.
According to its website, this is where Trend Solar is located in Covington. When we showed up here to try to track down somebody with the company, we couldn't find any Trend Solar signage on the door. But other people...
Do you know why you can't get in contact with anyone at the company? Because the problem with solar is that it's such a very it's like easy to understand, hard to master type of field. Okay, like for instance, you can easily understand solar and sell solar, but to actually get it correctly from A to Z and not have issues, it's very difficult. It's a long time to learn the process, and a lot of people can kind of give off that I don't want to say energy, but I guess energy, give off that energy and feeling that they know exactly what they're doing when they're a solar sales rep or they're like an office manager that even though they're office manager, they still can't get the interconnection and permitting documentation right? It's such a joke. But the biggest issue is because a lot of people aren't talking to the actual people that are the contractors and the people doing the work. Okay. Like if the guy was to actually dig a little bit and go, hey, look, let me talk to your electrician. Who's the in-house electrician? Who's the managers that do everything, that pull the permits, that do all the NV Energy, interconnection, everything, order the material, do the site survey, blah, 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 blah. Ask every single question you have under the sun. If you were to go through the whole process, that would filter out so many bullshit companies for you. Because if they were real or they're very good actors, right, they can actually make it so it filters out a lot of companies because, well, if you're asking them all these questions, they have to convince you, correct? So the best thing to do is to try to get in contact with the people that do the actual work, and then you have a way better chance of not running into companies like this.
People who work in this office complex told us Trend Solar actually closed months ago.
Turns out Dutton isn't the only one trying to track down Trend Solar.
We've reached out many times. Through our processes, we've been unsuccessful to get them to respond.
The Better Business Bureau says it's received complaints about Trend Solar.
All the complaints have been the lack of customer service, communication that's been happening.
Trend Solar's website was recently taken offline, although it's still listed as an active company on the Louisiana Secretary of State's website. We tried to find the 3 people listed as
Look at this, okay? Watch carefully, okay? Trey Clark merges his finance education with Louisiana State University. What does that have to do with solar? Look at co-founder Rain Rogers, a Tulane University graduate, a rich background in solar-focused marketing, never touched a motherfucking drill in their life. Look at Sharon Urbina, a graduate at Loyola University, right? Retails of human resource experience. What does that have to do with solar panels on your roof, with permitting and interconnection with the city? All of this shit is all bullshit. CEO, strategist, president of operations, stop getting tricked. Stop getting tricked into thinking that all this shit matters. It's nothing. If you were to get these people on a job site, can you get the job done? Do you even know what you're doing? Not just on the job, but in the office. Can you even get the paperwork finished? I bet you anything these three people together wouldn't be able to do it. But for some reason, people just keep falling for this shit, and we just keep having more and more of these videos, right? Let's continue.
Co-owners or co-founders, Trey Clark, Sharon Urbina, and Rain Rogers, but we couldn't get a hold of them. We called Mosaic, the lending company that's still sending Dutton bills.
Did you think you were duped?
Yep.
Yeah, this is so sad. I mean, I feel kind of bad for calling him naive earlier, but oh my God, $100,000. I mean, his life is probably not ruined because, he probably has money, but that's besides the point, right? He does have money. Look at the house, look at everything, and talking about the house and his son wanting to keep it for inheritance, and it's sad all around because solar is amazing. I mean, if this was installed correctly, like let's just say another company or we did it or somebody else did it, 47 panels on the roof, connected it all right, everything was good, this guy would have $0 in his bill and he would be able to pay it off in like 6 years if we did the math, right? We did the math already, right? 25. It was like $25K for the material, permanent labor. Okay. 47 panels. So 47 panels times that by, it was a 400 watts. So his system size is 18,800. Okay. We take that 25,000, divide it by the 18.8, which is his system size. So the materials cost about $1.33. So if we round that up to about $2, if we're being generous, right now in Vegas, it's about $2.25. So let's just say we gave him a friends and family discount, or anybody did, right? Let's say it was a $2 per watt system, 18.8 times that by $2 per watt. This system cash price would be $37,600 for the same material, same everything. That is more than a 65% savings on that $100,000 deal that he got. And he said his payment was $500 a month, right? Divide by 500. That's about 75 months. Go ahead and divide that by 12. Payoff period is about six years. This is not factoring inflation or the inflated rate for utility electricity. 6 years. 6 years compared to the what is it, 100K, his loan, right? Divide that by $500 a month. Divide that by 12 months a year. 16 years. 16 years. Do you want 6 years or do you want 16 years? Holy Jesus, my God, man.
And I'm stuck paying, a note from the loan I took out.
Despite repeated attempts to get a comment, no one from Mosaic ever called us back.
They never will. They never will. And it's all finance companies. It doesn't matter Mosaic or Goodleaf. It doesn't matter who it is. They're never going to call you back because they want your money. They're a money business, right? They lend out money. You owe me money. Now you signed that contract. Now pay me my money before I foreclose on your house. That's why you have to be very careful with who you go with and what you sign, okay?
Mosaic also has Better Business Bureau complaints lodged against it.
Of course they do.
And there's an alert on the BBB's website letting consumers know that attorneys general in a number of states are suing Mosaic for deception.
Yeah, okay. See, if this guy did his due diligence, if he just took like 15 minutes out of his day to Google stuff, he would find all of it and he would have never signed that contract.
Deceptive trade practices.
A government action or a government warning is definitely a red flag to utilize with a business.
Dutton says he feels like he's hit a brick wall. The last time he's been able to get a hold of anyone was in March, when Mosaic told him it was referring him to a third company who would work to fix the job Trend Solar started. But today, he says he still hasn't heard a word from that company or heard back from Mosaic.
Do you have faith that Mosaic is going to make this right?
No.
It's been
he's right. He's right. I understand that we should be like happy-go-lucky, optimistic people. Life is rainbows and colors. I get it. You're supposed to be a happy person. Yes, I agree. But the man, that's correct. You're probably out of luck. Best thing to do is try to find a local installer that can complete the installation for you. Okay, and just pray that they're going to be honest and just do the right thing. Switch out a couple things, redo the interconnection application, permits, just redo the whole thing, but use the same equipment. It now this becomes more than a new install, because now you have to get plan sets, paperwork, and engineering stamps on something that's already existing, and that is more difficult than if I were to just pick and choose shit that's already available, right? So
Months since he signed up for what was supposed to be a 90-day job.
I'm still out $100,000.
Must make you angry.
To say the least, yes. I've had my fair share of bad contractors, but
That's so
this is
sad.
probably the worst.
yeah,
You know, it's not. You're not talking
That's so
$10,000.
sad.
You're talking $100,000. I think it's up to me to fight.
Yep, sad all around. Just absolutely terrible. I mean, $100K for this old guy that's just trying to restore cars, live the rest of his life out. It's just terrible. And the really sad part is we're gonna see more and more of these videos. Just because it's just how it is. A lot of people get duped with the phone calls. I don't know what it is, but like when you call people and then you're just like, hi, how you doing? Yeah, we could save you on your energy bill. People just believe it and they eat it all up. It's like it's like the general public is so naive. They just don't. And I really hate saying that because I don't want to like insult people, but like I would rather kind of like insult them a little bit or like kind of like jab at them for them to not ruin their life and then lose $100,000 that's life-changing for people. So if anything else, if anyone has questions or the thing, please reach out. This is Corey. See ya. Bye. Panda Solar. Real installs by real electricians.